Hello, welcome to a Sunday chat with Nick. Welcome everybody. It's Sunday. Big game this weekend for the Steelers. Let's see how they will do. Last week game, not unexpected. I don't have high expectation for Landry Jones, and is he better than Michael Vick? Yeah, but how hard is it to be worse than Michael Vick, right? Anyhow, we'll see how they do against the Bengals. Hard to say, I don't know. But I had my iced coffee for the morning. Welcome, everybody. Before I go, my son Anthony finally launched his own channel, and the link is below. So for those interested in watching weekly videos from Anthony going forward, go ahead and please subscribe to Anthony. I'm sure he would appreciate it. For his channel, for now, I would try to help him out, being involved in front of the camera with him. But as he get older, hopefully he will be the one doing all the works. It's up to him to do whatever he wants. But for now, Anthony has become, I wouldn't say obsessed with football, but he loves football. He jumped the shark with football this season. So one of the things that he likes to do is predict the game. So every Monday night we predict the game, and I load a video of the recent prediction that we made last Monday. So if you want to see how well he and I did in predicting the games, watch that. We certainly will do movie reviews together on kids' movie that he and I saw, or he and mom went to see. And then the music reaction video, there was a lot of positive response to that. So we have plenty of that coming down the road. We will try to shoot that once or twice a month. It's depend on my schedule and his availability. He's not always the type that want to sit down and do a video, even if it's only 15 minutes. It's whenever the mood strike him, and he will do that. So if you want to watch him reacting to music, we might even do book review, even comic book review, toys review, things that, games review, gameplay. But it's his channel going forward. We'll see what we can put in there. Hopefully he will make occasion appearances with me on my channel still. Sushi X, thank you. Say hello. And Mike Smith, he's here this week. Hello, Mike. Mike, I hope you enjoyed the game so far, the trivia game. You're up next week whenever Joe, Shower Man 88, is back from his business trip. I think he's on a business trip. He told me that he will be back November 4th. So as soon as he's back, I'm sure he will play, and then I will contact you, and then we can schedule a time whenever it's easy for you. I'm available to do this basically from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, that's the window that I can do. So you have 12 hours to choose, and it takes 20 to 30 minutes. Depend on how much fun you want to have and chit chat between me and you. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the trivia game. Depend on how I will wait until I finish with the 7 contestants, and then if people still want to play going forward, I might do a monthly round of contests where I would like to have an even number, either 8 people or 16 people, because I would like to do in brackets like the NCAA tournament, but just 8 people or 16 people, where I match up 2 contestants at the time against each other, and then we go down the bracket into the final round, and there'll be a prize at the end for the winner. So going forward, I might do that if I have enough people wanting to play. Okay, that's the key. This time when I announced the contest, I had that in mind, as well as the solo game in case I don't have enough people. And it turns out I got an odd number of people that want to play the game, 7. So I decided to go with the one-on-one. But down the road, if I get more people want to play. But bottom line is, it's the prize is fun. It's not like any of us is in it for the money. Hopefully, it's more for the fun. I have a blast hosting the game so far. So for me, it's about the fun, and I want to bring something fun to the community instead of what we have. Not that it's not fun, but something different. I'm always about trying to infuse something different into the community. Last but not least, as far as announcement, I put a link below to a new channel of a new YouTuber, Joe Cool. Yeah, a short little video where he asked for help, and he asked me to spread the words. He's looking for help in looking at historical prices on old price guides. So I dug out my 1970, 78, and then 74. I got issue 1, 4, and 8, and he wanted to know the prices of some of the keys for the earlier price guide, and I did that. I was able to give him some info based on what I have here. But if you have issue 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, I'm sure he would love to have the information. So if you go down to the link below and go to that short little video, you will see my reply to him. And if you can help him out, I'm sure he will appreciate it. Okay, so that's everything, all the PSA out of the way. Did anybody watch Supergirl, the new TV show? Well, I watched the show. I was pleasantly surprised that I like it enough that I will watch the next episode. Yes, Sushi X is for the glory. Let me know if you want to play Sushi X. I know some people don't like to appear on, put their faces on the screen, but look at me, nothing special. Not painful to look at from the lady's point of view, I'm sure, but at the same time, this ain't no Brad Pitt. But the Supergirl, back to the Supergirl TV show, I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate it. The show is not, I'm not the target market. Okay, one of the things that, I constantly have to remind myself whenever I watch TV show is that, am I the target market that they are trying to please? No doubt, this show is not something that target the 48, almost 49 years old man. But I found it entertaining enough that I'm happy to see that they finally make a show with Supergirl, and it was entertaining even for someone like me who was not the target market. Oh, Mike Smith said that he caught up with Arrow and the Flash. I have watched all the show, even Gotham. Okay, so that I can talk about them in case anybody want to. Gotham had to be my least favorite show right now. As far as this season so far, I will put Gotham is bottom. There's no doubt in my mind. Gotham is at the low end as far as enjoyment. In fact, it's not enjoyment watching that show. It's torture, mental torture. But I say Agent of Shield. Um, I really like what's going on with what they're doing with Agent of Shield, especially when it's not about the Inhuman. You know, uh, finally, there's some characters in there that show some quality that I like. Fitz and Gemma. I really like what's going on, the mystery with the other planet. That bit of storyline has caught my fancy. So I am all thumbs up for that show right now. Flash, the whole thing going on with Reverse Flash and the new Firestorm, that was okay. The backstory with the Reverse Flash and the other Earth is definitely the highlight of the Flash show. So I'm all for that. Also loving that. Arrow, yeah, that's what I think about Arrow. Not a big fan of Arrow this season. I lost my love for Arrow the last few episodes of last season, and so far this season, I can't say that I am a big fan either. Um, and then, but I put Supergirl above Arrow. Okay, so for that one episode, as far as last week, I put Supergirl up there, and then Gotham at the bottom. There's nothing redeeming about Gotham that I can say. Well, outside of the Riddler, I think the little backstory that's been going on with the Riddler is somewhat interesting, but the rest, whatever that I like about Bruce Wayne, that this season of the young Bruce is not doing well for me. So back to Supergirl. I like the actress. I'm not familiar with the actress so far. I think she had that quality. The girl next door, cute, charming, quirky. She's not overly gorgeous, but she have a good balance between cute, pretty, funny. So it works well. I think it works well there. The supporting cast, so far, nothing jump out as far as the supporting cast. I do the one part, a little spoiler for those that haven't seen the show. The only big problem I have with the show is I didn't like that so many close people to her know her identity already. I would like to keep that part a little bit more a mystery to many people instead of just like seem like all the main characters outside of her boss know who she is. I would like to see a little bit more mystery string around a little bit longer instead of like such a quick reveal. Mike Smith said, I lost my interest in Arrow after watching Daredevil. And it's tough. It's tough to live up to Daredevil standard. Tom Welling will be on The Flash this season. We'll see. I don't know. So far, Flash has surprised me more than any other show because last season, I liked The Flash, but I wasn't too thrilled until the end of last season, where the backstory with the Reverse Flash become the main story. I think mainly because I am already tired of the weekly villain. And that's my fear of Supergirl. For those that watch the show, I'm afraid that what's going to happen with Supergirl is every week you are going to see an evil Kryptonian. not gonna spoil further for those that haven't seen the show, but it gotta be more. You know, I don't think you need to have evil Kryptonian every show, just like the Flash. You don't need to have a villain every week to defeat. Just my recommendation to the showrunner or producer, as if they watch my show, for my opinion. Not a chance in hell. But to me, um, yeah, I mean, Supergirl was fun. The weakest part was the villain. But as I mentioned, it's not market or geared toward me. Okay, younger audience will enjoy it. I'm sure they will. I hope they will, so that the show will succeed. But certainly, you know, it's very cliche in many ways for me. You know, how many times do we need a villain to talk like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna destroy you, you're not gonna know how. Does villain need to sound like that? Well, they sound not like me, but trust me, you don't need to sound evil to be evil. Okay, but that's just one of the things that I cringe when I watched Supergirl, was the villain sound like an idiot. But that's the market. I'm not the market. I keep saying that to people about the show, that, you know, I like it enough, thankfully, even though I'm not the target market. For Sushi X and Mike Smith, who is watching the show and participating, what do you guys think of the Jessica Jones full trailer? I liked it personally. You know, I like it much more than the 30-second clip that they put out previously. They put, I think, 4 clips prior to the full 2-minute plus trailers, and it piqued my interest. I know nothing about the characters. I want to go into the show knowing nothing, so that I will have a fresh, unbiased view of the show, and I like what I see. Certainly, you know, I like to see what they did with the Purple Man, right? Certainly, there are a buzz. The hot book is heating up on eBay about Purple Man, which I chuckle. I chuckle at the thought that some people are chasing up that book or hyping up that book. As I mentioned in my recent video with Brooke from the UK, people forgot how little Spider-Man 50 did, even though the Kingpin was awesome in Daredevil. So if you're buying Daredevil issue, issue 3, 4, I don't know, whichever the first appearance of the Purple Man is, for an investment, don't hold your breath, okay? Because it's not gonna be appreciating that much more once the show is released next year. Just look at what happened to Spider-Man 50. It didn't do much, right? Mike Smith and Sushi X both said that they like the trailer and the teaser. Yeah, the music, you know, music is very important with teasers, you know, and I like how they incorporate in that music for that bar scenes, the teaser where she's walking through the bar and a pile of bodies laying there. The music was catchy. It certainly piqued my interest in, like, what the heck is her power? Certainly from the trailer, she can fly. She's strong, but she cannot control herself as far as Purple Man controlling her minds, right? So we'll see how Purple Man. I'm not so. The only thing that kind of get me concerned when I see the trailer for Jessica Jones is Luke Cage. That actor has not sold me that he's gonna be the right Luke Cage. I don't know. I had to see more. I had seen him in other shows, so I'm familiar with him enough to know that I have seen him, but I'm not sure that's the Luke Cage. I would want someone buffer, beefier. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with Luke Cage as far as the show. So I'm just not sure this is the right Luke Cage. I would have picked a different guy. The one person that came to mind for Luke Cage would have been, gosh, I think his last name is White. He's the guy that plays Spawn. I think that's the actor that plays Spawn in a few bad movies. Even though he wasn't bad, I felt that he would have been a good Luke Cage. He might be too old now, given that Spawn was 20 years ago. Time flew. Sushi X said that I like it because of the looks dark. It looked dark. The look is okay. I don't. I think they definitely try to give it its own look with the purplish kind of color, the little tint. I'm not sure if that might be just the kind of thing that you see in the teaser and the trailers, but it's not like the look. But if they are trying to have this show in the same universe as Daredevil, I can see why it has a darker tone to it to make it match. And you certainly couldn't have the lively, bubbly, bubblegum, Supergirl kind of universe or kind of show, and then trying to have her interact with Daredevil, right? So it makes sense, So I can see why they went that route. Absolutely. On the serious side, I agree. I think the show will have a lot of potential. But we'll see. For now, we just have to. I don't know the exact date. Does anybody know the exact date of Jessica Jones? Is it? I don't know. Let me know. Somehow the date of the release escaped my mind. Did they even show it? Mike Smith said, imagine The Rock as Luke Cage. The Rock is just too famous to be Luke Cage. I'm not sure who The Rock can be as far as the Marvel Universe. That would be a good question. The Rock has a ton of magnetism, a ton of charisma to be many characters. Let's ignore the fact that he's been cast as Black Adam. Okay, let's ignore that. What would be a good role for The Rock in the Marvel Universe? I don't know. I don't know. I would definitely want him to be something bigger than Luke Cage, but I'm not sure. He's one of those guys that I would love to see superhero action movies, but I'm not sure what role would he fit. Tough question. I thought about this a long time, and I still can't come up with a perfect role for The Rock. I think Black Adam was pretty cool role for him. Even Shazam, even if they did put him in that role, that would have been fine with DC. But as far as Marvel, I don't know. Sushi X said November 20th. Thank you. Now I know. So it's literally 19 days away before. This is going to be 13 episodes. They dropped 13 episodes. Ooh, yummy. A yummy Thanksgiving. A pre-Thanksgiving feast. On the movie front, this weekend is James Bond. I'm definitely going to see that. My wife and I am going to see that Friday night, opening night. I did a movie review that I need to load, Sicario. Um, I can't say anymore, but I saw that movie recently. Hmm. I would just have to wait until the review for you guys to see what my thought is on Sicario. But I heard a lot of mixed review with James Bond, and that kind of concerned me a little bit. James Bond, the last movie was so good that I think it's hard to follow. I mean, the last movie was so awesome that I think it's tough to have a sequel that can live up to that kind of high expectation. So the somewhat mixed review that I have heard here and there doesn't deter me from going to see Bond this Friday. So that's my big thing is Friday night I am going to see James Bond, Spectre, and then do a movie review for James Bond Saturday morning. So that's the next movie review is Spectre had a $12 million opening in England alone. Not a surprise. It's gonna be. I think James Bond and Daniel Craig has done so well that a big opening is not unexpected. The question is, will it has the leg to maintain a high level of interest after the first 2 weeks? I think these days, the way the movies are, you know, uh, if you don't, if many movies open with a big bang, right, and then it drop anywhere from 30 to 50% or 60% the second week, and then the third week it dropped even more. So the good movie like Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise was able to maintain, sure, it dropped a little bit every week, but it was never the first month of Mission Impossible. The movie did not drop, you know, 40% week to week to week to week, because if you drop 40% the first week and then another 40% the second week, by the third week, forget it. You barely making 20% of what you did the first week. So you don't want to see that kind of drop as far as big blockbuster. You expect a 40 to 45% drop, and then you want to see it level out as word of mouth filter through, and then get the people to come in on the third week, the fourth weeks, right? Chat, you here? Hello, chat. Chat's here. Chat's addict. If you have not subscribed to Chat, you should. Great channel, high production value, good stuff. I'm still so envy of his opening, because after 3 years, I still can't figure out anything interesting for my opening of every video. Also, did you see that Cap 3 trailer will premiere in Force Unleashed? No, I did not. That would be interesting to see, no doubt. I like Captain America too, so I will look forward to see the Cap 3 trailer, Force Unleashed. Huh. The Rock would have been a good apocalypse. I did not think of a villain, but I say, yeah, I can see him being a good villain. He's imposing, his size. Oscar Isaac is the name of the actor that play him. He's a wonderful actor, but he's a small guy. He's 5'9". He's like Tom Cruise-ish as far as size. And this, it's funny. I saw a movie with him yesterday on Amazon Prime with Jessica Chastain, which I also like. Okay, Jessica Chastain is a wonderful actress, beautiful and wonderfully talented. And I saw him, and I'm just like, I had no idea how small Jessica Chastain was. I saw her in the movie with Oscar Isaac, and I'm like, wow. And I look it up. Surely she's 5'4", he's 5'9". Okay, this go back to my comment last week with another video when I said that Charlize Theron have a very slim chance of being Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, or whatever they want to call her, because she's 5'10". She's way too tall. She will make too many leading men too short, and unfortunately, that's gonna limit her roles in many movies. It's even with today technology of using different angles to make someone taller and shorter. Why go through that hassle when you can hire someone that is just as talented, that can be 5'8", 5'9", so that her male co-star that's 6 feet tall can appear bigger. It's an image societal thing. It's not fair. It's not PC to say it, but that's life. Okay. Being short like I am most of my life, I don't know why people get all offended when I say something like that, but there's nothing wrong with calling me short. I've been hearing that for 48 plus years of my life. So it is what it is. Chat Addict said that, okay, so what's your take on Judge Dredd, Stallone, or Urban? Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie was a better movie than Stallone, no doubt. I was surprised as heck that he kept his mask on the whole time. I watched that movie with my wife, and I'm just like, I can't believe that he would not take his helmet off this whole movie. Interesting. That's what was an interesting take on Judge Dredd. My only complaint on the Carl Urban movie was I felt, for me, it was way a little bit over the top violent. I understand that's how the comic book was, but these days with movies and money and profit, R-rated movie just doesn't make as much money as PG-13 money, and I think that's where I understand. To stay true to the comic book, you have to make it ultra violence, but if you turn away the 12 and 13-year-old boys out there, the male audience, the younger teenage boys audience out there that's not going to go see your movies, you hurt your chances of bringing in the big bucks that will allow the studio to make more sequel. That's my take on Judge Dredd. Sergeant Deathstroke, first time viewer, at least first time I saw your comment, so thank you for tuning in. Hey Nick, I just joined. Have you seen the Preacher teaser? I have not. Is Preacher on AMC? Let me know what channel. Okay, I will look it up, but I know the TV show is coming, but I have no idea what channel, what studio is doing it. But I have not seen the Preacher teaser. So if there is one, I will look it up after I have lunch. After this chat is over, I will eat lunch and then go look it up. But I look forward to it. The comic Preacher love the book, and he talked about it many times. I have not read the comic books. I have no plan to read the comic books, but I will watch the show. Just like The Walking Dead, as much as I love The Walking Dead TV show, even Fear the Walking Dead TV show, I like that too. The short season that we had, the very first season of Fear the Walking Dead that we just had on AMC was fantastic. I enjoyed that very much. I think they hit a home run right there also. But I'm not running out there to buy the Walking Dead comic book. No way, no way. So thank you, Sergeant Deathstroke, for joining the chat. Feel free to shoot me a question if you have any. So yes, back to Judge Dredd. I would like to see them make more, but I fear that the money is not there to entice the studio to move forward with a sequel with Urban, even though I thought Urban was pretty good. You know, it's Judge Dredd, and I kind of like the idea that they kept his helmet on the whole time. You know, but he did a good job. It's a good movie. A little bit on the violent side for me, but it's I didn't hate the movie. Not like the first one with Sylvester Stallone and oh god, I want to wipe that first one out of my mind. Even though I was very excited to see that movie because I was buying Judge Dredd comic book off the rack at the time. I agree about Urban movie. The Urban movie. I said something similar in my vid this week. I have not caught up to your newest video, so chat, I will watch that later to see what your view was on Urban movie. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that really love that movie, and I understand. You know, they're also a huge Judge Dredd fan, so I understand. But you know, when it comes down to Hollywood and movies, you gotta aim with wide audience. Okay, you can't just trying to please a small segment, and that's one of the things that I think hardcore comic fan have a very hard time. You know, whenever I watch a video of someone hating on a movie because the character was not what that's not the same as a comic book, or the look is not the same, or whatever it is, and I constantly, not that I defend the movie or defend the changes, I constantly have to remind people that a lot of time changes are made by the studios, made with the hope that they are making it more appealing to the wider audience, whether we like it or not, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's PC or not. And a lot of time it's not PC, even though they like that. That's my biggest gripes with Hollywood, is that they claim diversity, they claim to be noble, they claim a lot of things, and a lot of time it's, to me, it's more insulting than diversification. Okay, they're not as diverse as they hope they are. It's more like Mike Smith said, if Cable appears in X-Men Apocalypse, I think Cable will be a character that will be very big in the Fox movie universe for sure. If Deadpool hit a home run, okay, and it's very likely that Deadpool will hit a home run even with an R-rated, okay? You know, I have some reservation about an R-rated version of Deadpool movie, but we'll see. This is, you know, Judge Dredd is an example of, you know, how an R-rated movie can limit the audience. We'll see how Deadpool does. You know, if Deadpool can somehow break the curse of the R-rated as far as being a big blockbuster movie, I think Cable will play a role in future movies as Fox play around with the whole X-Force idea. Okay, I think I made a video actually that I never load. I made a video a couple months ago that for whatever reason I'm like, but I might load it now that you brought up the topic. I think as far as speculation is concerned, uh, New Mutant 100, the issue that X-Force was first introduced, is a very cheap, underrated book, because I can see Fox branching out to other mutant movies with the X-Force, with Deadpool and Cable. Okay, and you will see that book become very popular. We'll see. It's just I will load that video maybe next week. I shot that like maybe 2 months ago, and I just didn't want to load it. But now that I talk about it, might as well, right? If Cable appeared in the new X-Men movie, who plays a better Cable, Jean-Claude Van Damme or the actor who played Hellboy? Mike Smith, I think you did a good job picking there. I like Ron Perlman. That's the man who played Hellboy. Ron Perlman. Very interesting. I like it. I like it more than Jean-Claude Van Damme. I am a fan of Jean-Claude since the day that he appeared on the screen. A little tidbit: did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme originally, I think his first role was to play the Predator in the first Predator movie? Did you know that? That's his first casting role, was to be the alien in Predator. Let me know if you know that. That's John. I think I'm correct with that. For the movie buff out there, correct me if I'm wrong. Speaking of diversity and Hollywood, okay, my beef with Hollywood for a long time was, every movie, every big movie, the directors, the studios felt a need to cast in a minority in major roles to please certain segment of the viewer. Like Thor, Heimdall was recast with Idris Elba, great actor. I'm sure he wished he didn't take the role because he limited himself to that role in the Marvel Universe. He's a much better actor that could have much bigger role. You're talking to a guy that many think should be the next, if not the first, Black James Bond. So Idris Elba was cast as Heimdall to have a first Black actor playing, to be in Thor. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem is the rest of Asgard. When you show scene of Asgard with so many people, the rest is he's the only Black guy. It's just like, why don't you just show Asgard with all kinds of different races, right? If I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I watched the movie, I didn't spot any other Black actor or actresses in Asgard. So if you're gonna go, you go that route, why stop with just one? Stupid Hollywood. Joe Cool, you in. So for those that can help out Joe, do so, and maybe Joe will make more videos. I think Joe is a seasoned collector, could have a lot of fun story to tell, much like Dr. Von Schiller. I think Joe is very new to YouTube. I could be wrong. He's just started to watch some of my videos and make some comments, but I have a feeling that he's in the same age range as Dr. Von Schiller. Joe, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Doc is about 10 years older than me, in his 50s. And he was collecting, buying books in the late 60s, early 70s. And you can look up his channel, Dr. Von Schiller. He makes a lot of comments in my videos, and you can subscribe to him, and maybe it would inspire you to make videos and talk about stories of your early days of collecting in the 70s. We all love to hear that stuff. Joe, you asked me, what was the first comic convention you ever went to and your last? My first one was in Albany, New York. I was in high school. It was at the Holiday Inn, and the special guest was John Byrne. And I went to it, and there was nobody there. I was able to walk up to John Byrne and get him to sign a book. I was too young, too naive, too shy to ask for a sketch or to talk. I'm just like, I just brought the book to him, and I just like, can you please sign it, sir? And he was nice, and he looked at the book, and he's just like, where would you like to sign? Where would you like me to sign it? And I'm just like, I don't know. And he flipped to the splash page and said, I told this story many times, but you never heard it. He opened to the splash page and said, the best place, the right place to sign is on the splash page. And he signed the book and handed me the book, and I walk away. To this day, I regret not sticking around to talk more and to ask him to sketch me something, because he was just sitting there drinking coffee by himself. Not one soul, not one person. I think there was like maybe 20 people in the whole convention. There was more dealers behind the booth than people. To give you an idea of how small the convention was. This is 1984. Okay, 1984. I bought my first comic book in 1981, but it was 1984, my junior year in high school, that I attended my first convention. My last convention, San Diego Comic-Con 2010. Yep, I went there. It was brutal. It was too crowded. It was insane. It was expensive. The cost was expensive as far as attending the convention, and then the prices at the convention, the books was marked up way too high. All the dealers had to mark up the books, to pay for the high cost of attending the convention. So there wasn't any deals, and so that was my last. I'm not sure when will be my next. After that last bad experiences, these days I can get good deals sitting in front of my computer. And I would love to go to conventions just to meet up with friends and other collectors that I communicated with, but I don't need to pay to go inside. I said this many times before. If somebody here, attend Tampa convention, which is about an hour away from me, and I have free time, I would love to drive up to Tampa just to hang out with them, having lunch or dinner after they went to the convention. I don't bother with going inside and fight the crowd. Vincenzo, yes, I too heard about Van Damme up for the Predator role. Yes, the story, for those that are not familiar with Predator, was originally the look of the Predator was very different. It looks bad. It was a bad looking alien. And Van Damme was going to be the one wearing the mask and stuff like that. It looked terrible. Trust me, it looked like, well, it wasn't terrible, but it looked like something out of like a Star Trek TV show. Okay, and then if I can find the link to this little story, I will put it in the next chat next Sunday, because it was James Cameron. Okay, James Cameron, the director of Alien. I think he was the one that redesigned the alien to give it that dreadlock look. And there's pictures online on the internet of the sketch that he drew way back when. So basically, he reinvented the look of the Predator, I believe. And then I think a different actor, a bigger, much bigger, taller, more imposing actor was hired to put on the costume for the Predator instead of the smaller Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think Jean-Claude is like 5'9", 5'10". I could be wrong, but he's definitely not 6'2" or 6'4", So that was the interesting tidbit about Predator. And I love Predator. I can't wait until they can figure out what to do with that franchise. um, because it has so much potential. It's a fun alien, and the first movie is so awesome. It's one of my favorite Arnold movie. I can watch that movie all the time. That movie get a 4 out of 4 for me. Okay, I can rewatch that over and over and over. I was gonna go to MegaCon last year and this year, but both times I couldn't get off work. MegaCon, is that in Orlando? I think, like I said, I don't attend convention enough, but that sounds like a convention in Fort Lauderdale or Orlando. MegaCon. If it is, Mike Smith, if you are actually local to me, one of these days we should meet up. If you are that close to me in Sarasota, Florida. Vincenzo said that he liked Predator also, and it is in his top 10 action movie. It's definitely in there, up there. I have not sit there and categorize my top 10 action movie of all time, but it's up there, no doubt. It's a fantastic movie. Is it perfect? No. As I mentioned in my other chat video about, what's a 4 out of 4 star, is a movie had to be so good that I can rewatch it and enjoy many times over many years. And Predator fit the bill. It's one of those few Arnold movie that I can watch. And the other movie that Arnold made that a lot of people love, the one where he was the one that James Cameron did. The name escaped my mind. Sometimes the brain's not working. That was in Mars that they remake recently. That one was okay. I like it, but I don't find that as good and rewatchable as Predator. Speaking of movies, yesterday was Halloween. I hope everybody have a good Halloween. My son dressed up as the Beast, not the Beast. Number 24 from the Seattle Seahawks. That Beast. Not the other Beast. Anthony is so much into football now that he dressed up as the Beast with the helmet, the shoulder pads, and everything. Even the eyeliner, he had that on. It's funny because other kids saw him down the street and it's like, "Are you gonna go beast mode on me?" So he carried his football and his little bucket of candy. That was cute. I think my wife took a couple pictures. Total Recall. Thank you, Vincent. Yes, I like Total Recall, but it does not get a 4 out of 4, nor does it make the top 10 list. I need to think about where I rank that as far as Arnold movie, but it's definitely not in the top 3. Definitely not in the top 3 Arnold movie for me. Sergeant Deathstroke asks, "What my expectations for Doctor Strange movie?" I hoping it's going to be a feast of delight to the eyes as far as funky psychedelic world. I'm dying to see the trailer. So far nothing. We haven't seen any kind of image. So I'm hoping that Doctor Strange will be awesome. Okay, I put more hopes behind Doctor Strange than any other movie, because I want this character to succeed because I like Doctor Strange. I'm one of the Doctor Strange fan. That I know he's not a mainstream character, and it's gonna be not the same as other superhero because you're not gonna see the pow boom, explosions, smashing kind of action that most superhero movie goers expect. So I'm not sure how the audience is going to take the mystical, magical, wizardry kind of stuff that's going to happen on the screen. I don't know, you know. I love the world that Ditko and Gene Colan created visually in the comic books. I just don't know how that's going to translate on the big screen. I hope it will be a feast for the eyes. Okay, I hope. I'm crossing my finger, but right now it's just hopes. Let's see. Speaking of, just as I was talking about that, I completely lost my train of thoughts on something else as far as Doctor Strange is concerned. You know, as far as Doctor Strange, the actor, you know, back to Hollywood, you know, for the sake of diversity, my big annoyance for the Doctor Strange movie is the removal of the Ancient One and replace it with a female actress. Okay, Marvel Studio feel a need to add diversity by changing the race of villain, but they give that and then they take away the Asian role and give it to a white woman. Really? Unbelievable. We can't we can't get a break from Hollywood. Shocking, disturbing, disappointing. That's what I think. Crazy, you know. Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch. I like what you wrote there, Benedict Crumble Crunch. Oh, that got me a good chuckle. Mess Up Dude, welcome for joining me. Should Fox take another shot at Fantastic Four? I say no. I don't know what it's gonna take for Fox and Marvel to make nice to somehow, you know, get the property back into Marvel's hand. I don't know. You know, the false rumor sound too good to be true in that Marvel and Fox work out a deal where Marvel allow Fox to make mutant TV shows and then Fox give back the Fantastic Four rights. That false rumor was false. So bummer for us. At the end of the day, as I have talked about this in many videos before, Marvel are doing so well with so many properties, okay, that they don't need to have Fantastic Four. Not yet. Not yet, okay? They are doing so well. Marvel has made so much money with everything and everything they do, even Ant-Man. For those that think Ant-Man was a failure, would it shock you to learn that Ant-Man made more money? Okay? Ant-Man made more money than Thor, Captain America. It's more successful than the first Captain America and the first Thor. So that ended any kind of speculation that the bubble in superhero movie is here and they're putting out Ant-Man. Is the worst of the worst. For those that remember my rant when people on TV were saying we must hit the bubble in superhero movie because they put out garbage movie like Ant-Man and they make no money. Wrong, dead wrong. You know, so I'm so it's so back to Marvel and Fantastic Four. Marvel made so much money. You know, Marvel spent a ton of money to buy. Well, Disney spent a ton of money to buy Marvel. They made so much money in the past 6 years, 7 years that they were able. They paid it off. You know, it's unthinkable to think that the $4 billion that they spent to buy Marvel pretty much paid off in 7 years. That's how well Disney has done with the Marvel property. So it's not a big deal. They spent $3 billion to buy the Star Wars universe, right? So they don't need the Fantastic Four. At the end of the day, Marvel is sitting there saying it'd be nice to have it, but until they run out of ideas, until they stop making money on the current ideas they have, I don't see Marvel saying, Fox, give us, why don't you, here's 200 million. Give us back the Fantastic Four because you couldn't make garbage out of it. It won't take a lot of money. It's not gonna cost billion, okay, to get Fox to give, to sell the right back to Marvel, but it will take this. And right now, Marvel is making that much more with other properties, so they don't need to spend this to get Fantastic Four back. Someday, when they run out of ideas, say 5 years, 10 years down the road, then they might throw a few coins to Fox and say, we can use the Fantastic Four and reboot this franchise and use Galactus and Silver Surfer and then relaunch another wave of superhero movies after everyone got tired of the Avengers and whatever, right? I want to see Marvel's take on Doctor Doom. So do I. We will see it someday. Someday, it might be 10 years from now. We will see it. It's just not, but I don't see Fox. Fox has a better chance of success by spinning out the mutant universe that they have with Deadpool, Cable, X-Force. I think Fox is going that way because then they can have crossover with the X-Men universe, just like how Marvel's doing with all the movies. So I can see Fox going intergalactic with the X-Men universe and X-Force, assuming that they have the right to, say, the Starjammers and other intergalactic characters. I don't know what they have, okay? But for now, I think their best move is forget about the Fantastic Four, but focus on the mutant universe with the X-Force and the Deadpool and the Cable. That's my suggestion to Fox as far as where best to spend the money to make money. I just look at the clock. It's 12 p.m. Almost time for me to end the chat, but I will answer one more question from Sergeant Deathstroke. First appearances of Cap, Iron Man, Subby, Hulk, Doctor Strange are unreachable for many collectors. What are your thoughts on the collectability and value of Submariner 1, Hulk 102, Cap 100? I made a video a long time ago about these books. If I can find it, I sent you a link, Sergeant Deathstroke, okay? If I find that video about that topic, I think I did. But I think in general, I believe the value of this book, for the most part, are not undervalued because they were printed a lot. The print run for these launch in 1968 was massive because you gotta understand this is the big 1968 where Marvel finally got a chance to expand their title. That's why they launched all these titles in 1968. They changed the distribution channel that allowed them to have more titles. So it was a big move, a big campaign to launch all these titles. And so who knows, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 of each of these books was printed. And so, there's no shortage of these books, okay? Sure, in high grades, there's always shortage of high grade books as far as 9.0 or higher for many of these books. But at the end of the day, they are not, I wouldn't invest in them, in my opinion, because, for the most part, they are not a significant enough book to warrant a huge premium, because none of them launch a new characters. For the most part, this first issue was retold origin of all of these characters. So I don't know. I don't think that there is a chance for big profit in owning these books. I own most of them. I have them and I love them, but I don't think there's a chance to make a lot of money in them, except for, say, Silver Surfer #1. That book was launched in 1968 also, and I think that was more significant because it contained the origin, while the other books retold the origin, if that makes sense. Okay, that's it for this chat. Thank you for everyone for joining. Mutton Stew 99 Scott, do you think Big Ben and your Steelers beat the Bengals today? I say yes, but it depends on how not so poor the defense is going to be, because the missed tackling on the secondary of the Steelers are horrendous. Every time I watch the Steelers game this season, seeing the secondary play, oh, painful, pedestrian. Ugh. The rest of the team, I don't have a problem with the offense, unless it's Michael Vick being the quarterback. But if the secondary can't play up to par, it's going to be a shootout. So I don't know. Okay, I'm hoping the Steelers will win, but at best I can say 50-50. Okay, that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate all the questions. It has been fun. As always, I love to interact with you guys. And until next Sunday, tune in again. Thank you. Time for lunch and then football.